team.
Hey there, this is Malorian, this is the Orc Tactical Team, and what this one here is going to be about is actually something that's kind of really shown its face to me during the Bretonnian campaign. And what that is, I mean, I think I talked about this like 3 years ago or something, but it's all about taking a weakness and making it more of a strength. And now this might sound kind of stupid, right? Like Malorian, it's a weakness. How do you make a weakness good? Well, pretty much what you're trying to do with this is take a weakness and then minimize its effect while maximizing what it actually truly gives to you. Now, let's give an example, right? And the big one I've been seeing here is with my Bretonnians. Now, with the Bretonnians and the campaign, I've been trying to run a lot of characters with a lot of virtues. And what that's meant for me is that I run no magic. And this is actually kind of reminiscent of how I did this in 7th, where I always ran my Bretonnians with no magic. And the reason back then was that I could just, why would I take magic defense when I'm going to charge in turn 2, kill your caster, and so you're going to have like 2 turns of magic, and that's it. Meanwhile, I'm going to have a whole nother lance. Now, it was really effective back then. Now things are a little bit different with steadfast and all these things. But really what I'm finding right now is that, man, this actually kind of works out the same way. Because I could be modifying my list to take some damsels or a prophetess or something like this. But basically you take the list, grab one of my big lances, and toss it out. That's the trade-off here for having no magic. And that's what I'm talking about here with the benefit of a weakness. Now, I'm not saying like one of the weaknesses you're trying to work in here for this part is, say, like, oh, my frenzy, right? We'll take advantage of my frenzy being baited around. This is more like missing an aspect from your list, whether it's shooting or combat or magic or a strong general, something like this. And then obviously the benefit for these is that you're going to have more points to put into something else. And so sure, I mean, you might not have the Super Lord General, but hey, with those extra points, you now have this chariot, and then you have this a hero that's going to be your general instead. You're going to have lower leadership, but what you're going to do to try and help yourself is base your army around something where, okay, we're going to have no units that are really needing this leadership, something where it's really not taking a lot of panic checks, stuff like this. And by controlling your list and making it so that weakness doesn't really affect you, really what it comes down to then is the extra points you have. Now, coming back to the magic example, what I'm doing here is I'm taking an extra unit, and I'm saying, all right, what I'm going to have to do here is, because I know I'm going to be hit by magic, is I have to be aggressive, right? I can't play a Bretonnians that holds back and tries to shoot or something like that, because I know I'm just giving you extra times to shoot. I have to design a list to be aggressive. I have to be designing my play to say, all right, where's this casters? I'm freaking going for them right now. And being very aggressive, and especially if there's a bunker, having to peel away the defense so you can charge into the bunker there and kill that caster. Or maybe too, having other flying units, right? Maybe it's going to be some Pegasus that you're going to have going around, or some sort of character on a Pegasus, or maybe even a Hippogriff and go crazy. No, but something to get there and kill those casters. Now, these can really go into other areas as well. And one of the things you have to watch out for, though, is that some weaknesses could be very hard to counter for. Let's take the example of shooting. If you don't spend all those points on war machines, you can go out there and get a whole nother unit again. Like I said, I've kind of moved on to running, like 2 Rock Lubbas, 2 Doom Divers, and maybe even a couple of Chukkas. That's a lot of points, and I could be spending that on either getting a ton of chariots or a whole nother combat block. So again, if I make it so like, well, okay, if I have a shooty list, my play style would be more defensive. If I take all my shooting out, then I'm going to be playing very offensive. Put it all there, get in your face. So basically running Malorian style. So that's one way of looking at that I can be countering. And really, for the longest time, that worked. Now, one of the things that can kind of counter this is if the meta is really strong against that one weakness. So in this example here, we're at a time where we're seeing lots of Warriors of Chaos with the Demon Princes and the Chimeras, and also now with the High Elves with, their monsters, the Phoenixes, and all these things. So deciding to take out your shooting probably isn't going to pay out, because as much as you try and design your list to counter that, there's so much going on in the meta that's going to be taking advantage of your weakness. So you really have to be watching this. On one case, you can be saving a lot of points, and it has really no negative outcomes against you. Another example will be like for me, where I say, you know what, most people take a mage and a general. I'm going to say, screw you, general. I can have one less leadership, and I'm just going to make my mage my general. And you have to design your list to be built around that. But again, the worry like, hey, I have no shooting. Now I'm up against a bunch of phoenixes flying around my head, and I can't ever engage them until they kill my bunker. That's a problem. So there you have it. And really just look at your list. And when you try and say like, all right, I got to cover all my bases. I'm going to have this and this and this and this. Seriously ask the problem. What if I just took out this base? And look at all the points you're saving. Could you put those points into somewhere else to skew it enough that it would help counter for that? And how much would it actually negatively affect your play, and would you be able to make up for it? So there you have it. It's all about taking advantage of the weaknesses of your army, and hopefully you can guys get something out of this. So thanks for watching. If you have some other good examples of this, put it down below, and we'll see you later. Bye.